Affirmative.
And hey, we got one interesting thing. Some of our last shots are the Goodwin fire, its relationship to Mayer, and why this water came rushing down. Because, all right, you copy our audio? All right. Can you hear our audio? Okay. Anyway, the last shots that we have here are the Goodwin fire's relationship to this town of Mayer, and possibly one of the contributing factors is to the flooding, because there was nothing to stop the water from coming down the mountain. It's all burned. So we have some good shots of that at the end of all this. All right, Jerry, take over the Facebook Live, buddy.
Yep. Welcome to live stream from the Penguin Air and Plumbing News Chopper. We just flew over the town of Mayer. There was some evacuations throughout the town because of some flash flooding that happened. We just flew down and got some of the aftermath of that flash flood that caused the evacuation. And a lot of folks, especially down near the river, were affected. We saw lots of cars and houses, some sheds and outbuildings that had been swept off foundations and submerged. And we also, this is, if you remember, this is the same area that just experienced a wildfire. So they've got the Goodwin fire, they've got fire and now flood, and that's never a good combination. There's really nothing up in the hills above Mayer to stop the erosion from all of that rain, and so a lot of mud flowed through that river, and you can see that high water line on the side of this building here, and a lot of brush and debris swept right up over a lot of the cars down in the creek. So we're hearing that there were some evacuations, Diane, and other folks that are concerned on Facebook. How are people doing? We are hearing that at least 14 people were evacuated and stayed overnight at the Red Cross shelter. It looked like a lot of the homes down in that wash were affected, or the roads were blocked. So there's going to be a lot of people that are affected by this in the town of Mayer. And you can see that road blocked. That's one of the main routes into and out of Mayer, or this particular part of Mayer, down in the river. So this was yesterday. Gary asked what time this happened. This was yesterday. Throughout the day, it had been raining up here in Mayer. In the afternoons, the storm activity has been building up. And in particular, in the afternoon, it was just pouring. There is a chance of rain again today. Check out this building, swept off its foundation down there. And you can see the siding ripped off. That gives you an idea for the amount of power that flood had packed behind it. So Melody expressing, saying her heart goes out to the folks in Mayer. Yeah, I agree. Hits close to home. I used to live right down there as a kid. I lived in the town of Mayer. Played in the creek down there. Heather is asking about schools. I checked out the elementary school. That's up on a hill, not affected. We didn't see any schools down in the wash. I think most of those are on high ground. It's really the folks that live down or have outbuildings and farming and equipment down in the creek or the river there that were the most effective. So that's on the west side of the 60, that would be the southwest side of the road. Diane's asking that. Yeah, Roberta is talking about the animals. Yeah, we didn't really see many animals down in there. In fact, I didn't notice any animals down in the creek. or down in the riverbed there. Mostly just a lot of mud and a lot to clean up. So here's a shot flying over the highway. That's right where the fire, the Goodwin fire, jumped the highway near Mayer. We're flying over the highway toward the main bulk of the fire up in the hills. You see those blackened hills over. It's kind of here's a good juxtaposition of the green, and there's the river with the hills where all of this rain fell and the water washed it down with nothing to slow it down because of the fire. That may have been a contributing factor for all that mud and water rushing down through the river. So folks are asking how you can help. I know that the Red Cross is helping folks out. That's always a good one. Red Cross, some folks at the shelter at the Red Cross, they're probably the best ones to ask about helping out if you're concerned about folks in Mayer. So here's a shot as we flew through the burned out section. So we're flying up the wash, one of the washes, one of the little canyons from this burned out section of the Goodwin fire that happened just a month ago or a couple weeks ago. And you can see just sticks. There's really not much underbrush, no brush to stop from that erosion. And you can see all the mud just swept right through there. And we could really smell, you can still smell the fire on these trees at this low level. So this is the erosion from the Goodwin fire. We're looking at some of the burned out section from the Goodwin fire while all of that water rushed down. Yeah, first fire, Terry. It's a good comment. They can't get a break. First the fire and now this, now flooding. Here's another shot of that burned out section, flying from the burned out section, following the course that the water took from the hills above Mayer, where the Goodwin fire just burned out a large chunk of the national forest up here and the land around Mayer. Following the course that the water took down the washes and canyons. Those draws that flow down into the town of Mayer. You can see some of the water still flowing down that river. Most of the water now has swept down and it's dry, it's muddy basically. There's not water still flowing there, but there's a chance of rain, a chance for rain today. So yeah, the outlook, Diane, I don't have the current numbers. Diane's asking what's the outlook for rain today. I don't have the current numbers in front of me, but I know that there was a pretty good chance of rain in the afternoon hours, starting at about 11 o'clock. There's an increased chance of rain. Right now, clouds are high, and we're not seeing rain clouds right now, but it's starting to move in a little bit. It's overcast in Mayer. Here's a wide shot of the town of Mayer with the river flowing through there. And Kate is not the first person to ask about folks getting out okay. We're hearing that 14 people spent the night at the Red Cross shelter. I'll ask my news desk and see if there are any reported injuries. I haven't heard anything about injuries. Let's chopper to news desk. Is there any reports of injuries or anything from this flood in Mayer? Okay, copy that. So we've got our folks at our news desk working on that to see if there were any injuries or anything from the flood. Right now we're taking a look at Sunset Point, and there was some worry that Black Canyon City was going to see some of this water. It looks like some of the water is still flowing down the river. I'm at 14 over here, but we've got, so water still continuing down the river. It's not a raging torrent or anything, but there is water flowing toward Black Canyon City, and there was some fear that folks in Black Canyon City, there might be evacuations and issues, at least in Black Canyon City. You can see we're just above Sunset Point coming up to Black Canyon City, and that's where all the water that was in Mayer had headed. It looks like it flowed through there, and there was some mud over the road. But we certainly didn't see anything on the scale of what we saw in Mayer. So I'm going to recue some of this video over Mayer. Pretty dramatic stuff, I think, of the trailer parks and you can see mud up around these trailers in this trailer park, and the cars down there. I believe this is a trailer park that was evacuated, and I used to play right in the creek right behind that trailer park as a kid, so I know the area pretty well. Again, heavy rain falling in the hills above the town of Mayer after they already experienced the Goodwin fire just a few weeks ago. And that's caused all of the underbrush to burn away, and so there's nothing to stop all of that soil from eroding and being washed downstream. Check out this car, how high up the water was up and over that car, you can tell. A lot of mud and a lot of cleanup for those folks down in Mayer. Again, we're looking at the town of Mayer. There's the freeway. Looks like most of the bridges are fine. You can see, in fact, you can see traffic flowing across those bridges. The roads, though, that go down through the river there have, many of them are blocked down in the town of Mayer. And I'm going to switch gears here and show you a live shot. We're now over Black Canyon City, switching to Black Canyon City. So we've got a shot of Black Canyon City now, and you can see some of the water that was in Mayer has now flown downstream and is affecting some of the roads in near Black Canyon City. We're just north of Black Canyon City right now. The nice thing, well, slightly better thing for folks in Black Canyon City is that there's a way around this flooding in Black Canyon City, these flooded out roads. And it doesn't seem as severe as the flooding in Mayer.